everyone. Thanks for the feedback I got on what areas of the Phonics first lesson plan you might want a little bit of a refresher on before the beginning of next year. Based on that, I decided that today we are going to do our refresher on red words. Now this is going to be two parts, so you'll see that there's two different videos on the blog page. This first part is the general overview, and I'm going to go into how we want to be reviewing our red words, which is almost the most important part. The second video is just going to be a demonstration of me teaching a new red word to a couple of students, and they're so cute. They were such good helpers. So thank you very much to Jack and Abby for their help in creating this. Now, red words are part of the 5-part lesson plan, and it's really nicely outlined for you on the back of your lesson plan sheet. So all the steps for teaching a red word are listed in order. If you're ever not sure, can't keep them all straight in your head, just go ahead and check your lesson plan page and it's all laid out there for you. If you've been trained more recently, we've been starting to hand out these cards with the different parts of the lesson on them. And these are great. So if you have the cards, go ahead and it will tell you how to do the 2 different steps to the review, which I'll show you in a minute. And it's also going to outline the entire process for teaching a new red word. So don't feel like you have to keep all of this in your head or memorize the steps. There's always something there for you to look at. Like I mentioned, this video is going to be going over the very first step, which is even before you teach a new red word, you want to review your old red words. This is really important because we go through all the neuro-linguistic programming when we teach a new red word, but it needs to be constantly practiced to reinforce that and really help it stick. I mean, think of how many times a basketball player practices a layup. So every time you review your red words, you're helping program the spelling and the neuro-linguistic response into your kids. To review, you want to make 4 piles of the words. I have a new pile, which is words that I haven't taught them yet. So these are words that are upcoming. They're just there for me to have handy. After you've taught a word, you're going to put it in the pile for a reading review. After it gets through with the reading review pile, it moves to the spelling review pile. And when it's done with the spelling review pile, I finally have a pile for retired words, which we no longer practice all the time. I'll just pull them out every once in a while to make sure the students still remember how to read and spell them. Now, when you do your review, which you should be doing if you're a tutor, you should be doing it every session. If you're a classroom teacher, really try and review these red words as much as possible, 3 to 5 days a week if you can. The review part in itself shouldn't take long. The students are just going to be arm tapping the words. From your read pile, it's called the read pile because the students get to read the word. You are going to show the students the word, they're going to read it and arm tap it. And you'll just go through every word in your pile. They only need to arm tap these once. Next, you're going to move on to your spelling review pile. Now the spelling review pile, the students don't get to see. So you're going to read the word to them. Without seeing the word, they're going to have to load it and arm tap it. That's why we call it the spelling review, because they have to pull the spelling out of their brain. The question that I get asked all the time is, how many times do I need to review a red word, and when do I move it from pile to pile? Any red word that you've just taught goes in your reading review pile. You want to practice it until the students are very proficient at reading and arm tapping the word. I wish that I could give you an exact number of times, but it's going to vary by group or by student. Some students may only need to practice in the reading pile 7 to 10 times. Some students may need to practice in the reading pile 20 to 50 times. Especially your students with learning disabilities, they tend to need more repetition. So what I like to do is I like to keep a little tally mark on the back of my card. I put the date that I taught the word, and then I put the amount of times that they were able to read and arm tap it correctly. Now, I don't do this because I'm looking for a certain number. It just helps me keep track of about how long that word has been in there. Now, when you notice that the students are proficiently, consistently able to read and spell it, then you can move the word into the spelling review pile. And once again, you want to keep it in here as long as the students need to be proficient at spelling that word without seeing it. For some students, it may be 7 to 10 times. For some students, it may be 50 times. You really have to judge based on your group or your class or your individual student. When it gets into the spelling pile, I do the same thing. I keep tally marks of how many times the student has been able to spell the word without reading it. If they aren't able to spell the word, then I don't add the tally mark, and what I do is I show them the word and have them arm tap it. So you want it kept in that spelling pile until multiple times in a row they have been able to correctly spell that word, and they're doing it without hesitation. Then, when you think the student is comfortable with the word and they've got it down and it's easy for them to arm tap, they don't even have to think about it anymore, then you can decide that you want to retire the word. Don't practice it all the time when it's retired. Just bring one out every now and then to make sure they know it. And keep an eye out for when they use that word in their writing. That's a great place to check how well students have mastered red words, because a lot of red words come up in writing assignments. So in addition to this review that you're going to be doing, which will help you assess how well they're learning those red words, keep an eye on their written work, and that will also give you an idea of whether or not they've internalized those red words. Now I'm going to show you a little clip of me doing a quick two-part review, the reading and spelling review, with my 2 volunteer students. Okay. We are going to do our red word review. These are the words that we already know. This time I'm going to have you read the word, and I want you to arm tap them one time for me.
R. A-R-E. R.
Great. Keep going.
Want. W-A-N-T. Want.
Nice.
Who. W-H-O. Who. Any. A-N-Y. Any.
Fantastic job with those. Now these next ones we've been working on a little while, so I'm not going to show you the card. I'm going to say the word, and I'd like you to arm tap them just like you did before.
Okay. Sounds easy enough.
Can you arm tap what?
What. W-H-A-T. What.
Awesome. The next one is from.
From. F-R-O-M. From.
By.
By. B-Y. By.
For, like I went to the store for ice cream.
Okay. For. F-O-R. For.
Great, and one more. Come.
Come. C-O-M-E. Come.
Very nice. And that's all there is to that. Remember to comment here or email me if you have any other areas that you want a quick refresher on. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, hopefully we can all work together and make it a very smooth start.